And hello, welcome to Open, the show opening the Bronx and the rest of the world to you. I am Daren, Jaime, and today we're going to update you on what's happening in and around our borough and New York City. Coming up, we'll discuss the youth mental health crisis, I should say, and how WHEDco is helping kids cope in the summer school camp. And then after that, we'll speak with the CEO of Platinum Boy Music Incorporated on his journey of becoming a producer while also giving back to his community. Then, we'll talk about the financial aid process for upcoming Bronx Community College students for the fall and spring semesters. We'll give you more details a little later on in the show. And then finally, we'll learn how one organization is opening its first food pantry to serve individuals experiencing food insecurity. So stay tuned because all this and much more is heading your way. Right now, we're officially open. Hello, everyone. I'm Daren Jaime. You are now watching Open, a program that is live and bringing the Bronx and New York City straight to you. We also want to welcome our viewers to the Manhattan Neighborhood Network as Open is being broadcast simultaneously on MNN's channels. You can stay connected to us on all of our social media platforms at BronxNet TV. Some things have been going on throughout the past week, and guess what? We'll take you through it with some Bronx updates. We take our start with health news. A recent study conducted by Environment America has unveiled concerning findings regarding beach contamination levels in the United States. According to this study, approximately 55% of beaches across the country displayed potentially unsafe contamination levels in 2022. In the state of New York alone, Environment America examined 344 beaches, with 198 of them displaying potentially unsafe levels of fecal indicator bacteria on at least one testing day. Now, alarmingly, 41 of these beaches exhibited unsafe contamination levels on over 25% of all testing days in 2022. In other news, it's estimated 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer in their lives, making it one of the most common cancers among women living in New York and New Jersey. Our BronxNet reporter, Brittany Scholar-Arbane, went to Lenox Hill Radiology to explore how the clinic is initiating a service that's going to allow AI to detect breast cancers.
Here under the 6th train station is what's been voted as best in the Bronx for radiology and MRIs. Lenox Hill Radiology here in Parkchester is leading in advancements with their enhanced breast cancer detection system assisted with AI. Let's go check it out.
This is a mammography unit. It does 3D tomosynthesis, which means that it takes slices through the breast to sweep through the breast and find cancer, which is more subtle.
At the Lenox Hill Radiology Clinic in Parkchester, their mammogram machines are assisted with artificial intelligence. Dr. Darwish mentions there are no extra appointments or tasks needed, making it more beneficial with no more amount of work.
Enhanced breast cancer detection is an artificial intelligence tool which is applied to a woman's mammogram. It doesn't take anything extra out of the woman's time, no extra radiation. It's a software that analyzes the mammogram and helps in the interpretation of a mammogram.
RadNet, the national leader in outpatient radiology, purchased the mammogram machines with the AI software in hopes of pushing the needle forward when it comes to early detection.
We do 1.4 million mammograms annually, and of those mammograms, they were able to see tens of thousands of cancers. And the computer was able to see cancer after cancer, and not just what a cancer looked like, but what it looked like last year. So to be able to detect it at a very, very early stage. And as a result, the AI is able to increase cancer detection by 22%.
Although there are no extra tasks needed from the patient to implement the AI software, there is an added expense because no insurance covers the cost yet. Due to its increase in early detection, Dr. Darwish mentions that the expense is worth it.
Currently, AI is not included in payment by the insurance companies. We have lowered the price to make it more accessible to women. It is now $40. Yes, so it does find more cancers, and I do think it's a worthy expenditure. It does cost us money to implement.
As mentioned earlier, Lenox Hill Radiology Parkchester has been voted best in the Bronx for radiology and MRIs. Part of this is due to the accessibility provided to their patients. The clinic is located near the 6 train and multiple buses, including the BX39, BX36, Q44, BX11, BX4, and BX4A.
RadNet is an outpatient company whose goal is to provide quality and accessible imaging to all patients. In all our boroughs, the patients have access to the same state-of-the-art equipment and the same radiologists.
Lenox Hill Radiology Parkchester also understands that going in for scans can be a nerve-wracking process. So it is their priority to make sure all patients are safe and content as possible.
We believe in patient comfort, and we have excellent patient satisfaction in this office. The front staff, as well as all our staff, is very professional, very calm, very understanding, and everyone is professional. I personally feel that everyone should be treated like a family member.
Before heading out, Dr. Darwish left us with one last crucial message.
Get a mammogram. Regardless of your acceptance of AI, get a mammogram. Mammography saves lives.
For more information on the Lenox Hill Radiology Clinic here in Parkchester, follow the link below. For BronxNet, Brittany Schuyler Albane.
And thank you, Brittany. In sanitation news, the Department of Sanitation is taking action against illegal dumping by implementing a plan to install 115 additional cameras. Currently, there are approximately 165 cameras in known illegal dumping areas. Recently, one of those cameras captured a man in broad daylight in the Bronx, seen unloading bags from his Honda Accord and leaving them on the sidewalk. The individual depicted in the video received $4,000 in fines and had their car impounded. The installation of the new cameras is currently underway at hotspots, intending to complete the process before the summer concludes. Now, each camera possesses the flexibility to be relocated to different locations as they are needed. Well, that is all the time we have for our Bronx updates. We are taking a quick break, but we do have more open coming up when we return.
Is it time yet?
It's time.
Come start time for dinner.
Oh, terrific.
Pasta dinner.
Donating pet food is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back. The Women's Housing and Economic Development Corporation is a community development organization driven by the belief that everyone deserves thriving and vibrant opportunities as well as communities. Now, the organization is dedicated to providing a safe and inclusive environment for students to enjoy themselves, to learn, and flourish through their summer arts day camp. And here now to tell us more, we've got the Senior Director of Education and Youth Development at WHEDco, Katie Aylwin. And Katie, good to have you.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So it's a busy time of year for you too, huh?
Busy time of year, indeed. Yeah.
So what's it like?
Well, I've taken off my camp outfit to be here with you today, but we start at 8 o'clock in the morning and run until, dismissal starts around 5 o'clock every afternoon. and it is a jam-packed afternoon or full day of activities for students with partnership with DOE teachers, and then lots of different specialists that come in and provide all kinds of enrichment activities for our students.
So we call it it's called the Summer Arts Day Camp. So what falls under the banner of Summer Arts?
So for us at WHEDco, we've historically been the Summer Arts Day Camp. We are in partnership this year and in the last few years with the Department of Education under the DOE and Department of Youth and Community Development's Summer Rising initiative that started with Mayor Bloomberg and has been continued with Mayor Adams. And so we're partnering with DOE teachers in the morning to provide academic enrichment to help our students catch up after some of their lags that we saw post the time we spent at home during COVID. And so working with those DOE teachers to provide the academic enrichments for all students that are attending, and then also to provide as much physical activity, as many arts activities. We have drawing and painting, we have dance, we have drama, and then just as much social interaction as students can get while they're with us.
Yeah. When you talk about social interaction, a lot of that was impacted by COVID.
Big
the
time.
Emotional, right? So what are you seeing on your end now, given the fact that really it's like the first full summer that we're seeing kids back in action? What are you seeing on your side?
Yeah, I mean, it's very joyful to see all of our young people back and really in it and feel normal. But for sure, we do see a lot of lags in our students developmentally in their social development. And just seeing, like some of our kindergartners are not as used to being away from their families for the entire day. And so, helping them just really acclimate to being in a setting outside the home and continuing to practice sharing and being in large groups and raising your hand. And then for some of our middle schoolers, just really taking their focus off their phones. And that was a great way for them to stay connected to their peers during COVID. But now that we're back in person, we don't have to just communicate on our phones. We can have a conversation with each other. And so really making sure we're helping them navigate the difficulties of adolescence and the difficulties of friendship for all of our students in person and in real life, so that they can, kind of reacclimate to that.
Are you finding there's anything in particular they're gravitating to, especially during this time of year?
I think for us, we're really trying to give them some time to really focus. And so, we've had a lot of time on screens in the last few years. I know when I look at my phone, I can be looking at one app and then go to another and then go to another and go to another.
That's all
and
of
so,
us, yeah.
right. And so, our brains are all over the place. So really giving them some hands-on, minds-on time to focus and dig into activities, whether that's them stepping away from laptops and tablets and computers and everything and being in a drama class where they're giving themselves over to being a real character, or running around and playing basketball or learning how to play volleyball, and really digging into their books and their reading and connecting all of their reading with different fun activities to just really help them focus and kind of reconnect with a lot of the work that we're doing.
So paying attention to curriculum, and one of the things you're offering is actually dog therapy. And so it's not a common thing that you hear, dog therapy. So first, let's walk through what dog therapy is for somebody that doesn't know, and why do you feel the importance of it?
So we work with a wonderful organization called A Fair Shake, and they bring us wonderful dog owners and their incredible dogs who come in and work with our students, and the students get to help train the dogs, teach them how to do tricks, and the students are learning how to teach them how to do tricks. But it's really just such a wonderful time for them to connect with these animals, to have fun, and it's just really such a joyful, wonderful time to go in. So please join us. We'd love to have you.
I gotta come. I have a Yorkie at home, so I feel that.
Amazing.
Yeah. He thinks he runs the house, but that's a whole nother show right there. When we talk about summer camp, obviously one of the things that we see happening during summer is that youth are actually engaged and somewhat prepared for the going into the school year. A lot of times there's that loss because if a youth is just at home and I'm not doing anything, I learned during school year, I lose it by the time I get back. But really, a summer arts camp also does a good job in bridging the gap. So that way when kids do return to school, that learning loss hopefully is curbed.
We're hopeful. We do a lot of work to make sure that we are connecting students with academics in ways that maybe they're not connecting in the school year. So if you're in your regular English language arts class and you're not really getting it or you're not really into it, how can we find a different path to help you latch onto that and learn those skills, maintain them, and also be excited about the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
So that's some of the work that we're pushing with students and making sure that they're just staying connected to that work. It's staying front of mind for them. It's not something that's just going to drift to the back of their mind behind video games. It really is something that's present in their everyday.
Yeah, food insecurity is huge here too, and I know you know about that. But when we talk about food insecurity, the fact of somebody being able to have food and then also having healthy food. But when you come to camp, I think one of the things that people are excited about is it may not be the meal of the lifetime, but the fact is there's a lot of healthy nutrition that goes on when a student attends camp.
Definitely. Not only are we so grateful to be housed by PSIS 218 here in the Bronx, which has an amazing kitchen staff that cooks breakfast, lunch, and snack for our students every day, but also we are working to make sure that our students are connecting to healthy eating as well. We have a garden that students maintain, and so in our cooking classes and our nutrition classes that we do with our young people, they're trying food from the garden, they're tasting. Yesterday I saw a zucchini tray be prepared by students, and everyone was like, oh, I've never had like summer squash before. It's like, great, let's get excited about it. You grew this yourself. So really exciting to see them try all those new things. And then at the end of the summer, our cooking classes will do a chopped challenge, which is always a real adventure to judge because there's lots of food from the garden that goes in that, and students find a really interesting way to use jalapenos in almost everything, which is really hard for me. But
Yeah.
we try. We get it
That's
done.
a family staple.
Yeah.
It's
really
When
great.
you grow up in certain families,
Yep.
making jalapeno part of everything.
Yeah.
You're not in the family if you don't.
I'm trying. I'm definitely
but
in
you're
there.
the family,
Yeah,
don't worry.
I'm in there. Yeah.
Talk to me about this too. Also, summer camp. You always go out on trips sometimes, and that's used to be the highlight.
Definitely.
The field trip. So
Yeah.
what do you got planned?
So this summer, this Friday, we have some students going to the Transit Museum. We have students going to to Urban Air in Brooklyn, which is a trampoline park. We'll be going to the movies this summer. We go to different museums. We'll go to the Natural History Museum, go to the Bronx Zoo. So we'll really be all over the city, just out and about on an adventure every Friday. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
If people want to find out more, what do they do about getting connected with the summer arts camp? Is it too late or?
So right now, WHEDco's summer camp is full, but if folks would like to be connected to any of the DOE and DYCD's Summer Rising camps, it's nyc.gov/Summer Rising. So that is a great way to see what spots are left in your neighborhood and how you can connect to different community-based organizations that are doing that work. And then for WHEDco, we're always at WHEDco.org.
Yeah. Given the fact that we haven't been seeing a lot of in-person lately, we're just starting to get back. Were you a little nervous about possibly the potential outcome of people coming in, given the fact that some people have elected to stay home during this time?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been really lucky. This last school year was very difficult. I think that, it was our first full kind of what was deemed as a normal school year. And so I think, this is our first full normal camp summer. And so I think getting through this will, I think really help us all feel a lot more confident too going forward of like, okay, we're back, we're doing it. But it has felt really great to just feel like we're settling in and things are coming back, which is wonderful to see for our students and our staff.
Yeah. Before we leave, I want to talk a little bit about entrepreneurship and also leadership, because I think that's also something that's fostered in the environment that you guys have. So talk to us about how that plays out in the life of those young people that come there, that they learn about entrepreneurship, and at the same time, leadership.
So we have two different classes that we're offering this summer where there's a push by the city to really expose our young people to career development. So we're doing a leadership program with our middle schoolers, but we're also in the entrepreneurship kind of tapping into their creativity and their curiosity and helping them build their ideas from germ to business and see what that could really look like. And on every Friday, once they get back from trips, they'll be meeting with different professionals. We're going to lock you in to come in and join us one Friday.
I'm locked in. I sang
Yep.
it on TV. Yes, I am.
Got him.
No.
So we'll see you on a Friday afternoon to come in and talk about your career path with all of our young people and just really give kids an idea of different possibilities for both that, seeing an idea come to fruition and then also, how else they could dream even bigger.
Well, it's awesome to have you, Katie, and I think you guys are doing a great job. It's certainly a lot to offer, and so if somebody wants to get connected, you've given us the information already. But what would be your best advice for a parent that's watching right now, and they're saying, listen, you know what, I want to keep my kid engaged, and you seem to do a great job of doing that. What advice would you give?
I think everything we do is a learning opportunity. Everything in your life is a learning opportunity. So if you're on a walk with your child, ask them questions about what they see, ask them questions about what they think. You can be the one that asks why all the time too. It doesn't have to just be your kids. So ask them open-ended questions about what they think, and when they ask why, if you don't know, why don't we find out together? That can always be a great opportunity for you two to learn together and explore.
Gotta leave it there, but great having you. Thank you so much for being with us, Katie.
Thanks for having me.
All righty. Well, I want you to know, if you want more information, please visit the website at WHEDco.org and then follow them on Facebook at WHEDco. We encourage you to don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Open coming up right after this.
We all know what it's like to feel alone. But it just takes one new connection. Want to get out of here? To empower many.
This is unbelievable.
It doesn't take a superhero to bring forces together. We all have the power to reach out.
Let's go!
And help someone feel like they belong.
Pretty cool, huh?
We are stronger together.
Where did the time go? Somehow I lost all those years. Where did the time go? I don't know how I got here. Oh, how did I get here? I can see now.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
And welcome back. Growing up in the Claremont section of the Bronx, our next guest fostered the careers of over 100 artists and achieved tremendous success in the music industry. Through his unwavering dedication through creating music, he's established a prolific and a multi-platinum selling career. Here now is the CEO of Platinum Boy Music Incorporated and multi-platinum BadBoy Hitmen record producer Amadeus. And if people don't know, MD drummer for Trey Songz. You got Puff Daddy Combs, BadBoy, Jennifer Lopez. The list goes on, but you're right here right now.
I'm here, man. Always here.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you, my brother.
How's everything going?
I'm good, man. I'm in good spirits.
I mean, we haven't really talked a lot since we talked through COVID, but but after we really have fell a little, but you're still staying doing the same thing. And
same for you.
We're looking good.
Thank you, my brother. Same.
Well, let's get at it. I mean, how's things been? I mean, I know that for yourself, everybody knows that you're this producer, but yet and still, you've got great work. You go to Vegas every week. You're still going to Vegas.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and just got back from the NBA Summer League. So talk to us about it. So it's a nightclub out there called Dre's.
Yes, sir.
And you're the drummer.
Yes, sir. I know it's really, really different and unique. You
Right.
know, a drummer. You hear about DJs having residencies. You hear about artists having residencies, magicians, all kind of different things. But for a drummer to have a residency at the number one hip hop nightclub in Las Vegas is epic. So I'm definitely grateful for that opportunity. Been there for about 7 years now. So it's a great experience, man. I'm still waiting on you to
get there.
To get there.
I'm glad you said that. So that you got me out the door. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna be there. So when I take the vacation, they know exactly where I am.
It is. Yes, sir.
I'm with you.
Yes, sir.
But for yourself, obviously, it's a great feeling to be doing this for 7 years. But this is just a part of your career. When we talk about the music, you're making music, you're making scores. Talk to us about the work that you've done for somebody who may not be so familiar. I gave people the body of work, but being that musical director for Trey Songz, Jennifer, Puff Daddy, Diddy, how you want to call it?
It's a long list, man. I've been at this for 25 plus years. You know that. And being able to produce for over 100 artists, and some you mentioned, J-Lo, French Montana, Chris Brown, Tyga, Jeezy, Keisha Cole, T.I., Papoose, Remy Ma, the list goes on and on, scoring for ESPN, creating the ESPN First Take theme song, and Burger King and Sprite. Just a little kid from the Bronx that I had dreams and visions of being a success musically. Didn't let anything stop me or block me from allowing those dreams to come true. And this is what hard work looks like. oftentimes being where I'm from, as you mentioned in the beginning of the interview, Claremont, 169th, Washington Avenue, really, really tough neighborhood. I've seen a lot, I experienced a lot, but I allowed all of those things to be motivation to push me to even live that dreams even more, to be able to make a difference, to be able to not be a statistic and be locked up, dead, in jail, doing all of the negative things. So it's like, how can I be from where I'm from, right, but be a light?
Right.
Be a light in a world or an area filled with negativity and darkness. So it's been a grind, it's a journey, ups and downs, just like anything else. But when you love it and you have passion for whatever it is you do in life, it's that pushes you forward.
We talked about all the celebrities, all the accolades, and you're a well-accomplished person, and a person that's really been on the grind, as you said, for decades. But the fact is, you still remember home.
Oh, absolutely.
The fact is, you still come back home, and you really want the message to come to kids and to young people. And share a little bit about the work that you've been doing, in terms of getting young people motivated, letting them know what's happening right here in our very own community. You give away things, you're out there, man.
I think it's important. All my career, I always, whether on tour with Trey, and I would stop at different schools that was in a neighborhood in different cities, and like, yo, is there a school nearby? Let's go, let's pull up. Just for me to go speak to the kids and push them to chase and live their dreams. And then when the pandemic happened, I've always wanted to do a book, a book just that kind of tells the story of how I became Amadeus, right? And we created a kid's book, the story of Amadeus, and the beat goes on. It's been out for about a year now. And the reason why I wanted to do so is, you go and sit and talk to kids. Some of them are listening, some of them are not. And you might really say some really important things to them that goes in one ear and out the other. And then once they leave that building, life happens, they're kids, they're doing whatever they need to do, and they might not necessarily be locked in. So my vision was, if I can leave them something tangible so that if they didn't hear nothing that day,
right,
they can leave with something to refer back to in regards to, yo, this is Amadeus, he came to my school, he pulled up, he signed on my books, we took pictures, and then go back into that book and just, grab some kind of motivation in some kind of way. So that's what I've been doing recently. The school visits have been epic. I know you've been seeing them online and me posting them. I had about 6 commencement speeches this year at graduations, and it's a blessing. The music is amazing, it's cool, I love it. But your vision changes and what you're after changes, right? So now that I'm in this position, I want to use this position to just really make a difference, right? Because a new song comes out every second, every minute, every moment. There's a new artist, there's a new producer, there's a new songwriter, right? And if you was to ask me, what do I want to be remembered for? It's like, the music is cool. Like, I'm not taking anything away from the music, but they can forget about you in a second because of the next, right? But if you make a difference in someone's life, if you push them to live their dreams and you encourage them, to be great at whatever they do, they'll always remember you. You know what I'm saying? So that's the focus for me right now.
And you want them to remember you by your work and your works, but it's the body of work that also supports the fact of how you're viewed.
Right.
Recently, you know yourself, you're getting down with Rick Ross.
Yeah.
And you got an all-black orchestra?
Yeah. And it's, so Rick Ross is another resident at Dre's, and, we were performing at the nightclub one weekend, and he's just kind of like turning around, and I never performed with Ross ever, but I'm a fan of his music. So as a musician and as a drummer, it's like I got the cheat code. So he's performing, and I'm playing to his music for the first time, and he's like performing and turning around like, yo, who is this dude? And that's just the fan that I am of his music, and just so he was like, yo, I got an opportunity, I got something coming up, something special I would love to have you a part of. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Right.
And just a real nonchalant way, being in the business for so long, you hear so many different things, you be promised so many different things. So I'm like, cool, when it happens, I'll get excited about it. And, got a phone call from the composer and the music director of the symphony, like, yeah, we're doing this show in Atlanta, all black orchestra. He said, the only way I'll do it is if I have Amadeus on drums. And that was like his exact words. And I'm like, me? And he's like, yeah. So it was amazing, sold out show, once in a lifetime. Just imagine hearing Rick Ross with a full band, with a 50-piece all black orchestra, epic. Yeah.
How's that fit in history for you?
Oh man, really powerful, right? Because I studied music in school, but everything really came organically. So I can't read music, right? And in order to even sit and play with an orchestra, you have to read music. Everybody that was there, that 50-piece orchestra, some of them knew his songs, some of them didn't, but everybody read the exact notes and the sheet music that was there. I just came in, sat on the drums and played. I didn't read anything. I didn't feel anything. I didn't have any rehearsals.
Wow.
No, I don't rehearse. Like, you know, like I was just at practice.
Right.
Practice?
Right.
Nah, it's just a feeling and it's a vibe and it's something that can't be taught. You know, that's God given to me. You know what I mean? It's a vibe. For
Usually
me,
God given, I think people don't also recognize too that, you know, you started out in the church.
Yeah.
And we all know Bishop Michelle
Absolutely.
White-Haynes.
Absolutely. Rest in peace to Bishop.
Rest in peace to her. But,
Yes, sir.
So that transition from the secular from the church to secular, how'd that go over? I mean, there's
Pretty
a lot
tough.
of people. Yeah.
Pretty tough. But growing up, I loved hip hop. My parents knew that. Bishop knew that. I was hip hop out. Like, I would play hip hop songs in the church. We'd be shouting music, and I'd try to figure out how we can incorporate a Jay-Z loop. and Bishop knew that. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, what you like and what you listen to doesn't make that the person, you know, make that who you are. You know, so just because I listened to hip hop doesn't mean I wanted to be a drug dealer, or I wanted to stand in corners, or I wanted to bust guns or be in a gang. I just loved the music and what was created and how they put it together. You know, so it was tough, you know, to just be like, okay, Pastor, I want to go on tour with Trey Songz. And she's like, who?
Right.
Like Trey Songz. And then if she looked up Trey Songz and she saw he didn't have no shirt on, and then, you know, he says he invented sex and, you know, different things. It was tough. But she had to, you know, she didn't have to support me, but she did.
Yeah.
You know, it's my dreams, it's my goal, it's my vision. She taught me all she needed to teach me. My parents taught me and grew me in the way that, you know, morals, values. And it's like, okay, go out there in the world and do something. And then she realized that all of her teachings and even my parents are supposed to be out there. I'm supposed to be with Chris Brown. I'm supposed to be with Trey Songz. I'm supposed to be with the artists to share who I am,
right,
and what I'm made of, and how God is my foundation, and how He created and built who they're working alongside. So my calling was to be out on the road, the 50 Cent, the Lil Wayne. Like, we have real conversations, and we have these conversations. You know, so if everybody's in a church, you know, and in that one building, how do you reach the masses of those individuals that saying, "Nah, I'm not stepping for the church. I'll go to this show though."
Right.
But I'm not stepping foot in church. So that, I feel, was the calling of my life, that I had to be out in the world to really make a difference.
Yeah. So real quickly, what you got coming up that people need to pay attention to?
I'm actually, as soon as I leave I'm going to a school. I'm actually doing summer camp, teaching little kids about music. So as soon as I'm done, I'm flying down to the city to do that. But I am now, humbly speaking, Dr. Amadeus.
Right. I forget, I was going to close out on that one. Yes, sir.
So, you know, I'm still taking it in. You know, I was honored with an honorary doctorate in music and music education and entrepreneurship. And I'm still trying to figure that out. And just a little kid from the Bronx, you know, finished high school, Connell Hayes High School, and just followed his dreams. And now to be considered, or, you know, a doctor, honorary doctor is a blessing. Just a little kid from the Bronx, man, from the hood, from the bottom.
Hey, listen, you started from the bottom, but you're here.
Man, you heard?
That's it.
You heard?
Good to see you, boy.
My brother, always great to see you. Thank you for
Amadeus, thank you so much for being with us. And yeah, as we say, always makes time to stop by here on the set. And of course, you can check him out. Now, if you want more information, visit his website at IamKingAmadeus.com. Also follow him on Instagram at Amadeus PBM. Encourage you, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Open coming up right after this.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
Bro, you gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's a white people thing.
Escúchame, en esta casa los hombres no lloran.
You all right?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
Thanks for hearing me out, bro. Appreciate it.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad. Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
Where did the time go? I don't know how I got here.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
And we are back. Bronx Community College offers over 40 academic programs, providing students with the opportunity to pursue further education at a four-year institution or kickstart their careers. Additionally, the college offers various financial aid options to ease the burden of education. And joining us to tell more is the Director of Financial Aid at Bronx Community College. We got David Woods with us, and good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
I was talking a little bit in the break, talking about, is this busy time of the year? You said, really August.
Well, yeah, people are enjoying their summer vacations, which is encouraged. They work hard and they study hard during the school year. But then in August, we usually see an uptick because, it's time. I didn't do it at the end of spring semester. Let me do it now. So that's usually our busy time when we get all the the majority of our students rushing in to register. But that's why everyone's back on campus, and we're happy to service them and get them ready for their classes in the fall.
Yeah, it is usually one of the hardest things, I think, for past the application process. I think for a parent and then also for students, that financial aid process can be dreading.
Yes, I remember from my own experience, and I'm not dating myself. I remember when the FAFSA used to be paper.
Right.
That's when I did it. But having this experience now and being in financial aid, now my job here is to make it a less onerous or scary process for parents, trying to break it down in layman's terms. So I usually do my best, my staff and I, we do our best to walk them through this process, keeping it as simple as possible. We tell them what year taxes to bring, what to expect, answer the questions in a way that they would understand. We also have, Spanish-speaking staff members as well, so we're multilingual, so any parent can come in and we will walk them and their child through this process. Yeah. We want to make it as comfortable and as easy as possible.
So the process itself, from start to finish, that could be quite lengthy, and sometimes it can go rather quickly.
Yes.
What do people need to know in order to expedite the process? I think is what somebody said.
The best thing to know in advance is to make sure that you've created your FSA account, because that can take a few days to verify with the government. So I usually say do that at the semester before, if you can, before the semester is over. Then bring your taxes with you. If you have, for the current year, the 23-24 year, you need your 2021 taxes, so make sure you bring that with you. Bring your state taxes too, because we want to make sure once you complete your FAFSA, you can do your New York State TAP application as well. We can knock it out in one shot, and that way, if there's any issues, we can come back to you, we can fix it. Students are selected for verification. They already have their taxes. Literally getting the information together is the 99% of the problems for families. They don't have their tax information all in one place, or they're not sure. And once you have that, we can help you fix those problems pretty quickly.
I'm sure you always get the question whether or not people qualify for financial aid.
Yes.
What is the qualification? He's like, all day, every day, right?
I will say there's a bunch of factors that go into financial aid, and I know it's recently changing. I don't know if a lot of people are aware because of the FAFSA Simplification Act of 2020. 23-24 is kind of like a bridge year from the old way we did it to 24-25 is an entirely new process. But in the old way, the best way I could tell people is to look at the number of people in your house versus what you make. So you may make a lot of money, but if you have 7 or 8 people in the house, it's going to be not as much as going to be going per person, so that increases your chances. But now it's more nuanced. So the best way I can say is just to do the process. Let's see what happens. Just in case you don't qualify for let's say TAP or Pell, we do have other scholarships on file, and there are other ways where we can help you get paid for your education. So don't be all disheartened if let's just say you didn't get Pell or TAP. There's still other ways that we can help you, because we prepare for things like this.
Have we seen budget cuts? We know about budget cuts already, but have we really seen a sharp cut when it comes to those persons being able to receive financial aid? Because COVID's been here, and people have asked what's on the back end. Is there as much financial aid available, or are we seeing?
And honestly, there's actually more. The Biden-Harris administration has increased Pell, the amount of Pell per student, so there's more available for them now. During the COVID pandemic, we had HERF funds, which was the COVID relief money for schools and students, but that went directly to the students. So it didn't really go too much to the school. But yes, now that that's over, there is more money available, and TAP continually also increases each year. Thankfully, the state legislature always increases it. They don't increase as much as we'd like, but they do increase it incrementally. But there's always more money available. Every time it comes up for reauthorization, they tend to increase it, especially for Pell.
Right. We talk about financial aid. Most time people think about loans, but the fact is there are grants available.
Yes, like I said, Pell and TAP. Pell is our federal grant. Most students who qualify will receive that. For New York State students who stay in state, they get New York State TAP. So you can qualify that. That's why I say when you complete your FAFSA, bring in state taxes, your IT 201. Bring that to the campus as well. We can help you complete your TAP application. Once we receive that, we can determine what you're eligible for. Also, New York State has the Excelsior Grant, which is another one for students. And also for those who are undocumented, we have the DREAM Act for those students who can receive aid who are undocumented. So New York State is covering everything that the federal government does not want to pick up at this time.
Wow. So for yourself, about this time of year, you're seeing a steady influx of students coming in the door. What's the biggest mistake that people make when they come through the door that you always gotta?
Well, the biggest mistake, I think, is they don't come unprepared. They don't bring their taxes with them because 99% of the time they don't have their taxes. Either they don't have it in their email, or they just, oh, my tax lady or tax person has them. Then they have to go get their tax, and that takes up a week, 2 weeks. That's vital time because we still have to wait to hear back from the Department of Ed if there are any issues. So I would always say if you bring the taxes with you for that current year, like I said, the 23-24, you bring your 2021 taxes, that's half the battle. Once we can put those in, we can get the ball rolling.
Yeah. And as far as the admissions process?
Well, admissions is very simple. My friend Joshua Perez is the director of admissions at Bronx Community. You just come to him. He'll ask for your transcripts if you've been to another institution. If not, he'll ask for your high school transcript, and he'll get the ball rolling with you. What we usually do as a tandem is he'll introduce you and get you the process started, but in that time, he'll bring you over to financial aid so we can, on the same day, so that way we can at least get the ball rolling for your financial aid. We're not siloed. We try to do as much as we can for students right there on the spot. That way also makes them want to come back because they've seen the progress that they've made in one day. And also if they have everything, we can knock it out in one shot.
And I think it's also important to mention, I think many times when we think about students, the first default is that we think these are students who are just coming out of high school.
Oh, no.
But
no.
when we talk about Bronx Community and a community college, we're seeing a lot of adult students enrolling.
Indeed. With our nursing program, we have students who may have had a bachelor's degree come back and get their nursing degree. We have students who dropped out maybe 20 years ago want to come back and finish their degree. So we're seeing people from all walks and ages of life come back to get that credentials in their degree, and we encourage it. You're never too old to stop learning. You always want to learn and keep going. So we are happy to see that demographic. And also benefits in the classroom. People with different ages of experience, they can help those who perhaps are a little younger from them learn things that you're not going to learn in the books.
Right. So as this time of year is approaching, obviously you're excited because you're seeing more and more students that are coming through the forefront. What is the best advice that you have? Somebody's watching right now saying, listen, I'm thinking about going back to school, but I'm really worried about the financial piece because that is the biggest challenge sometimes with people. It's not that I don't want to go back to school. How am I going to finance it? How am I going to pay for it? What do you say?
Don't be afraid. Ask. You're sitting there worried about what could be, what if, what is. You don't know unless you ask. Right. So the first thing, you just come to the office and talk with us. We'll let you know straight up, this is what it is, this is what it isn't. We will tell you what you need to do. Instead of worrying about what could be, find out what it is. And you might be pleasantly surprised that you qualify for a lot more than you think you do.
Yeah, yeah. So people come to the office and they come through. What's the average appointment time like?
Well, we don't take you can just walk right in. We don't have appointments. It depends. Most people maybe 20, 25 minutes if they have everything with them. If they don't, they'll come back and we make an appointment. Tell them, hey, come back this day. If they want to speak to a specific person, come back this day. We'll take care of you right then and there, or just come back the next day.
And I know that each individual student, it's a different process. But for yourself. Give us, if I walk in, I got my documents together, how long does it take me between start to finish when I got my stuff right?
If you have everything with you, it shouldn't take you any more than 20, 25 minutes if you pay attention and follow what we tell you to do. We get you out in and out real quick.
Yeah, and then how long does it take on a response time from the university?
Usually I'd say about 3 to 5 business days. We'd get a response from the Department of Ed. If everything's good, we move forward. When you register for your classes, we package you get your award letter. If there's an issue, we let you know, and we move forward to help you correct the issue. If we can correct it for you, we will as well.
Yeah, and so for yourself, obviously, you've been in education for a minute.
Yes, a minute.
How's it varying through years? What are you noticing?
Well, and I'm going back to myself. One of the reasons I got into it is to see a person of color moving up through the ranks. When I started, I did not see any people like myself in these positions. So moving forward, gaining experience and leveling up. I'm happy to say now as a director, I'm able to provide those students, you know, the advice that I didn't get when I was in there. So seeing more of us is important, you know, through connection to LinkedIn and our various financial aid organizations. I'm seeing more people of color assuming directors, vice president positions in financial aid, admissions, just overall enrollment management. And that's great because, you know, I think it's important, especially for students who are HSIs, HBCUs, they need to see people like them in these positions who understand the experiences that they've had to go through, who have walked these trials and tribulations. So I think it really helps them to see me.
Well, best of luck this
Thank
summer.
you.
I know you got your hands full, and
Yes, indeed.
It's only ramping up from here, but
Indeed. We have so many plans, stuff that I haven't even told you we have plans coming.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we got to bring you back. All right,
Indeed.
Dave. Good to have you. Dave
Thank you
Woods,
for having
Director
me.
of Financial Aid, Bronx Community College. Now, for more information, visit the website, bcc.cuny.edu. Of course, follow them on Instagram and Twitter at BCCCUNY. All right, don't go anywhere. We do have more open. We are coming up right after the break.
Most hiring algorithms would scream me out.
Some bosses couldn't see me as a leader.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
I've been running code as long as I've been able to reach a keyboard.
This is what I do. It's second nature for me, coordinating 100 details at once.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
I sold them on my skills.
You gotta be so good they can't ignore you.
My magic is
Analytics and empathy. That's how I'm getting clients. You have to have the confidence in yourself to show up and defy the odds.
I am more than who I am on paper.
I never got a college degree. And today, I'm the CEO of my own company. People want to tell me I'm one in a million, when actually I'm one of millions. Stars are all around us. It's time for them to shine.
My character, Shazam, knows all about growing up in a family full of teenage superheroes. They're bold.
Where's everyone going?
To fight crime?
Okay. Adventurous. There's never a dull moment. And no matter what happens, they'll always have your back. All they need is a place to grow and be themselves. And the best part is, you don't have to be a superhero to adopt a teen. Learn more about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward.
And we are back. I think we're back if I can get my earpiece together. And it's together, so we're back. Food insecurity in New York City has been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Low-income communities, justice-involved individuals, they're facing significant barriers to accessing food. Now, the Fortune Society plays a crucial role in addressing this issue through its food as well as nutrition services, providing support to the formerly incarcerated. Here now with me is the Executive Vice President for the Fortune Society, Rob DeLeon, and good to have you, man.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So when we talk about this population, obviously two demographics. You've got the food insecurity issue, but then you also have incarcerated individuals or formerly incarcerated individuals. Let's first talk about the food insecurity issue. And it's huge in New York, and it still continues to get worse.
Yeah. So, you know, at Fortune, we've been around going on 56 years this year. And, you know, we served last year a little over 10,000 people. And of those folks, roughly 90% of them have no income, and maybe half of them are food insecure. And that's just a reflection of the folks coming through our legal system in New York City. So, you know, they come to us and we make sure that one of the ways they get to us to help to reclaim their lives and to be involved in programming that's going to help them, you know, get to that better place is to make sure that we provide meals. So we provide 3 meals a day at all of our locations. We're citywide. We're located in the 4 boroughs, except Staten Island. And so we recently opened a food pantry at 502 East 163rd Street here in the Bronx in the Morrisania section. And it's, you know, a really, really important resource for the community where roughly 25% of the residents, specifically in Community District 3 in Morrisania, are food insecure, and maybe 31% are living up below the poverty line.
So that's really impacting in a major way. Of course, there's that need there. Are you surprised by the numbers that you're actually seeing coming through your doors right now? Because I know that you said, you know, since the door's been open, it's been very steady.
Yeah. So at that location alone at 163rd, we are slated to serve roughly 3,000 and up people annually. And so of those folks, if you could imagine half of them being food insecure, we're resourced to give out about 100 meals twice per week. And so, while we bring a really sorely needed resource, it just scratches the surface of the actual need.
Yeah, and when we talk about being a resource to the community, obviously that's who you are. And then we talk about a population of people that are formerly incarcerated. Give us a little bit of this, because when we look at formerly incarcerated individuals, the expectation is they get their life, go back, rehabilitation, all of that. We know that as soon as a person comes out, there's even more challenges than when they actually sometimes even went in.
Right, absolutely. So I think one of the biggest challenges working with the system-involved population is that you've committed an offense, you've gone away, you've paid your dues to society, and a lot of the time the stigma sticks with you, right? So we have this like perpetual punishment going on where folks are discriminated against in a lot of areas, which include employment and housing, and those are, if not the two of the most crucial needs to get your life on track. I mean, you and I, without a job and without a place to live, we would have to figure out what we're going to do with ourselves, right? Absolutely. And so to be faced with those challenges when you're released from prison or jail, it creates a barrier in itself to getting your life on track. And then add to it, some folks have children. Many of the folks that we serve have children and families, and they just want to contribute to those families, but they have to work on themselves first. And so if we can help with getting one of those challenges out of the way, which is a meal, and where you're going to get your meal for the day, then we want to help with that.
Yeah. So who's eligible to receive services? Particularly, let's talk about Morrisania for a minute, because we're also seeing across New York City. But let's talk about the Bronx for a minute. Who's eligible to receive services?
So with the Fortune Society, as long as you've had a touch point with the criminal legal system, there's no wrong door for entry. So if you're 18 years and older, you've had some system involvement, you can come to us, you'll get a general intake. And then we'll figure out through an assessment what the greatest needs are, whether those needs are employment, those needs are addiction treatment services, mental health services, and we'll link you to those services, many of which we have in-house.
And when we talk about incarcerated people, those services, what are some of the primary services that those who are coming back for reentry need in order to make it on that path towards progress?
So I named a few of them, but I would say, of course, housing. 50% of the folks being released from our prisons are coming home and they're entering New York City shelters, which in itself is a really, really not so great system to be involved in. And so we have transitional housing at the Fortune Society. We have transitional housing right in the Morrisania area of the Bronx on Washington Avenue. And we house about 77 folks there, and we help them with case management. We help them with housing specialists to help get them on the path to independent living. But aside from that, there's food insecurity, there's addiction treatment needs, and of course, job needs. So one of the first things we do, because folks may not have a job, but they also don't have a lot of work experience. And so we have a program where we do training, we do employment readiness training, but then we send folks on 3-week internships that are paid so that they can get some work experience under their belts while we work to get them connected to a job. And those needs right there, I feel like are really high on the priority list for folks, at least when they come to us. And so we're trying to address the whole individual and as much of those services as possible. And I left out that when folks come to us, you don't have a job, you don't have that work experience, one of the first things we do is we sit you down with a benefits specialist and connect you to the public benefits that you're eligible for to help to get you on your feet at the beginning.
Great. You talked about the Bronx. Let's talk a little bit about Manhattan. We got Manhattan viewers as well. For those who are watching in Manhattan, where can they go?
So we have a few locations in Manhattan. We have transitional housing on 3rd Avenue in Manhattan. We have supportive permanent and transitional housing on 140th and Riverside Drive. Our primary location where we do intakes and get folks connected to the services throughout the city is in Long Island City, Queens. And to some, that sounds like a far out thing, but it's a hop, skip, and a jump right across the 59th Street Bridge. And we get folks connected to the things they need. And so we serve Harlem. We serve a good number of folks from Harlem every year, Brooklyn, the Bronx, and who'd I leave out? Queens.
Yeah. Can't forget about Queens. No, not Staten Island. It's not Staten Island, yeah, but if you're in the 4 boroughs, you can definitely receive the services that are needed. And when you bridge that gap for yourself, you're looking at those who are incarcerated, then also food insecurity. These are 2 major challenges that a lot of people are facing in New York City. And as I would imagine, after COVID, these numbers continue to skyrocket.
So the numbers have increased, right? At the beginning of the pandemic, we had done a lot of work, and when I say we, I don't just mean the Fortune Society, I mean as a community of advocates, to bring down that mass incarceration footprint that we have here in the city and in this country. We're working to address those more upstream needs that lead to incarceration, because the reality is that the communities that are the most affected are Black and brown communities by criminal legal system involvement. I speak from experience. I'm a formerly incarcerated man myself. I spent 10 years in prison beginning at age 17. And so I can identify with the needs of the people that we serve. And I know that being involved in the system is a symptom of a greater need, right? It's not just that we have good guys and bad guys. It's really about what are those unaddressed needs, some of them being systematic failures in communities. How do we address them? How do we bring down that footprint? So now we're up to about 6,000 people on Rikers Island, where at the beginning of the pandemic, we were down to roughly 3,400. That is a slight increase, but we remain the safest city in the country, right? With the smallest criminal legal system footprint. And we're working to bring that back down through things like, meeting folks where they are, meeting those needs, trying to address those mental health needs, and advocating for more humane responses to certain things like mental health crises. It's not really a criminal justice issue. It's a behavioral health issue. And so we want to make sure we fund those systems as well.
Yeah, well, Rob, I want to thank you so much for being with us, my brother.
Thank you for having me.
Got to fly around here
I
somewhere.
know.
We got to get him out of here, get him out of here. Listen. All right, listen, now, if you want more information, please visit the website at fortunesociety.org and follow them on Instagram and Facebook at Fortune Society. Now, we've come to the end of the show today. No, I'm not waving goodbye. I'm trying to wave the fly off. Now, I'd like to thank all of our guests for joining us. You, the viewer, for tuning in. Now, if you missed any part of today's show, catch the recablecast on Optimus Channel 67, Verizon Files Channel 2133, or watch us anytime on the web at bronxnet.org. And you can catch a brand new episode of Open with my girl, Rena Valentine, on Friday. That about wraps up this episode. I am Daren Jaime saying thank you for watching. Make sure you keep this channel wide open. Take care. God bless, and we'll see you soon right here on Open.